Hey gorgeous, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I thought I would talk a little bit about how to stop comparing yourself to other people online. I feel like this has become a bit of an epidemic with social media being such huge parts of our lives, and when we grew up we only really saw the lives of like our friends and our families and maybe people that we went to school with, but now every day we're bombarded with like the highlights of everyone's lives, and sometimes even if you have the most glamorous life you can really feel like your life doesn't compare to other people's. So I thought I would arm you with some tips to stop you comparing yourself to other people. Now I think comparison is the biggest thief of joy, because constantly you don't think you're good enough and you're telling yourself this story that like your life isn't good enough, your relationships aren't good enough, your holidays aren't good enough, your clothes aren't good enough, and that's not really true. That's what I believe. So my first tip to remember is that comparison robs us of time. So every time that you are staring into your phone, looking at someone's amazing holiday or house or life, you're robbing yourself of precious time that you could spend with the people that you love, with your friends, with your family, with your work colleagues, or doing the hobbies that you love to do. So remember that comparison is a time waster. When you're comparing yourself to someone, you're putting a lot of focus on this person that you're comparing yourself to, and actually you can only control your life. So instead of focusing all this energy on someone else's life, why not focus on yours and thinking, wow, you know, don't compare, get inspired by these people that you're following. If they've got incredible clothes, maybe you think, God, I would love to buy that. Maybe I'll put it on my wish list, or maybe I'll try and find like a cheaper version of it, or I'll ask it for Christmas when it's coming up. You know, try and think of like ways that you can incorporate the joy that they have into your life. My next tip is that you don't actually really know what's going on. A lot of the time people might be posting these amazing photos of them kissing their boyfriends in the sunset, saying how much they love each other, but actually they're sat in bed next to each other on their phones all night and not really chatting, and they're just kind of putting up this false kind of pretense that they're in love and they're happy, and frankly it's just all for show. I know a lot of bloggers, a lot of celebrities that are online, and I know from the inside that this can be incredibly true, and often actually the moments that give you the most joy you forget to put your phone out. If you eat a delicious meal, you're so excited to get into it that you've tucked into it before you've taken a snap, or you're watching an amazing sunset, you're so captivated by that, you're so present in that moment, and you wouldn't even think to get your camera out because you're enjoying it for you. Because I really do think that sometimes, although I do love to document a lot of my life, actually sometimes it's quite magic just to have the memory for yourself, not to have it on a picture phone, because it takes you out of that moment. You have to get your phone out, you have to swipe up to get the camera on, you have to take the perfect angle, then you're thinking about editing it, then you're thinking, should I share it, should I not? And that's just suddenly takes you away from that beautiful moment of bliss that you were enjoying because you're so focused on sharing it with the world. And sometimes you can just have it just for you, you know, we all deserve those magic moments. My next tip is to really think about, is it right for you? I think sometimes we can look at other people's lives and think, oh wow, they travel all the time, you know, I wish I travelled all the time, or you know, they've got lots of kids, I should be having lots of kids as well. And actually, does that work for your life? You know, like, would you really enjoy living out of a suitcase all the time? You know, can you financially have 3 kids, let alone give time to all those children? You know, sometimes we can wish we had completely different lives, but actually when you really think about it logically, like, would it work for you? Would it work for your personality? Is it the right thing right now in time? And sometimes it's good to sort of analyse that sometimes when you're focusing on comparing yourself to someone else's life. You know, sacrifices are made from having children or from travelling around the world. Yes, there are magical moments to it, but there are also downsides to it. You know, you're not at home all the time, you're not seeing your family all the time, you're not enjoying kind of the comforts of home life. And with kids, you know, you're not out with your friends as much. So I think it's sometimes good to sort of put these things in perspective and think, actually, I say I want it and I say like, oh, that's amazing, but do I really, you know, really think about it? Would it fit in with your life? If you're not already subscribed to my channel, what are you doing? Hit the subscribe button right now. Another thing that helps reduce comparing yourself to people is to really focus on switching off that negative talk to yourself. I think when you're looking at someone's amazing life, it can really bring up all the things that you don't like about yourself. I'm not beautiful enough. I'm too fat to fit into that bikini. I'm not rich enough to have that house. I could never be able to travel the world. I'm not confident enough to do that. And this negative self-talk can be very paralyzing. It can make you really unconfident in yourself, and it can spiral you down into a very anxious, depressive state sometimes. So I think it's really important to understand that these are just words that you're throwing out at yourself. I always think it's important to treat ourselves like we would our best friend. You would never say to your best friend, you're fat, you're not confident enough, you're not good enough. So why would you say these things to yourself? It's really important to first have awareness of the sorts of things that are going through your head, because those comments can really linger and they can really affect how you think and feel about yourself. My next tip is to really celebrate you, because you are fantastic and everyone brings something different to the world that no one else can. Sure, that girl on Instagram can do the splits and all these cool yoga positions, but can she hula hoop like you? Everyone has got their party tricks, their quirks, their differences in the world, and that's what makes the world a really magical place. So instead of focusing on everything that you don't have, focus on everything that you do have, because I'm sure there is a lot of it. I really like to make a gratitude list of everything that I'm grateful for in my life, or sometimes I have a sort of compliment bank where I store all sorts of different little compliments that I've got through my work or life, and sometimes when I'm feeling a little bit low, I'll dig into that and have a little read, and it just gives me a bit of a boost. Another option is to really celebrate other people. So instead of going, I don't have that, go, you go girl, well done for working really hard to have bought that car, or to have achieved that amazing goal that you have, to really congratulate people wholeheartedly, and really mean it when you congratulate them and really feel like you are happy for them. And my final tip, if all else fails and you really just can't get past comparing yourself to other people, is to just cut it out. Just unfollow all those accounts that make you feel crap about yourself. Take a social media break, or just really curate your social media feed on things that feed you and make you feel happy. Remember, social media is something that you control. You decide who you follow, who you want to pop up. The algorithm works so that the people that you comment on and like the most will come up on your feed the most. So remember that. You're in charge of everything that you see. So unfollow those accounts that don't make you feel good. Really follow all these people that really lift you up and inspire you and make you happy every day. And then hopefully you won't be getting into this kind of turmoil, and you'll be feeling really good and confident in yourself, because that is definitely what I would absolutely love for you. Now, if you've got any tips to stop comparing yourself to other people, please leave a comment down below. Let me know if you enjoyed this video by giving it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done already, and I'll see you next time. Bye!